Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast, where we explore consciousness, creation, existence, and evolution through conversations with universal beings. Why? Well, the intention is to restore your sovereign intelligence, your original essence, the intention of who you were created to be as a human being, yes, but it's understanding that your energy first and your humanness, well, that's it's like a side effect, right? It's not the reason you exist. You don't exist to be human. You exist to participate in existence, and being human is just another experience that you have. And then inside of that, you have thousands of lives. It's rare. I've only met one person ever that this is their first life. Most are in the thousands, most. So ultimately, we are, and we have been for the last year, exploring the story of creation. So the universal beings that I've been working with for 20 years, the creator, some people call him God. There's lots of people that call them all different things, but the reality is there's only one. The universe, the being who originally, yes, he created this universe, but now after going through the story of creation, it's really understanding that the entire creation process is based on intention becomes energy becomes experience. And so yes, he created this universe, but we need to understand what that means. We need to understand, what does it mean to create anything, to create something? Because and he's here, what the creator is saying today is creation is, it's a reflection of your power in the universe. And we've been trained that power is control, right? Power is competitive, right? We do something in spite of our challenges. We do something to tell other people what to do. We do something, we create using power, which is ultimately why most people don't create, is really what this comes down to, because most people are actually terrified of their own power. Imagine terrified of your own power, okay? And when you really, I know there's a lot of people, you may be watching this and you may be saying, no, I know what my power is. I want to know more about it. I've been doing this for 20 years, okay? In every course I teach, in every conversation I have, there is a point where the person second guesses themselves. They second guess what they're feeling. They second guess what they know they're receiving, okay? And also, I've had a number of experiences where people start to get nervous at the energy that starts to flow through them. They start to think, I'm doing something wrong. There's a bad being that's coming in. There's someone else coming into my space. And all of those experiences, in my experience, when I'm feeling into them, 90%, well, they're showing me 96% to 98% are your own energy. So it's that person's energy, and it is getting so big and they're terrified of it. Have you ever been in a meditation or a guided journey and you start to just sort of slip away into the energy? And you get to this place where your body, it's almost like your body numbs out. And the energy begins to grow, and it creates a sensation that feels too big for you to fill, or it feels too big to be in your physical space, okay? What the creator wants to rectify is the word he's using. What he wants to, and when he shows me rectify, it's a circular motion. So he's going to talk in circles until it comes back and you've raised in vibration, because that's how humans learn. Okay. We learn in layers, but it's understanding that you have to go through the whole cycle to come back to the original intention. When you come back to it, you've raised above it. So you're up a layer, right? So if you're looking at it this way, you come around, and then as you come, it's like an underground garage, right? Where every layer you're going up. And so what happens is the parts that we go around, it's to help you see all 365 degrees of your situation, of your perspective. That's why he talks in circles, not to confuse, to clarify. Okay. This is really important. And why we're talking about this today is when you begin to understand your power, he's showing me your power works much the same way. Okay. It works in circles. It continues to expand. And then when you come back to where you were originally, you're more than you were. And then you allow yourself to go into more of your energy. And then you come back. So it's kind of like, if you imagine, it's like a slinky, right? And you kind of go up the next level, up the next level, up. And so our brains have trained us to believe that if we're having a challenge, okay, or our brains have decided that that's a setback, right? So we're no longer moving up in our journey. All of a sudden, we're moving either backwards or we're stalled. We can't move forward, okay? But that's not how the universe works. The universe works in motion. It's constantly in motion, okay? And it's only moving in one direction, okay? Now, this doesn't mean direction forward, backward, up, down, sideways. No. The direction of the universe is always more. Always. It's more consciousness, more awareness. It's constantly expanding. That's the more. Okay? So when you begin to understand that level of participation from the universe, you're going to resist blocking it. We block it, right? I say block it because you'll start to feel the energy and you're like, whoa, this is too big. I can't handle this. Whoa, this is somebody else's. I need to make sure my space is clear. My space is clean. It's safe. The reality is there's no unsafe place for a soul. There's no unsafe place for a soul. Why? Because when we come back to that whole concept of existence, right, and expansion, when you're in your energy state, right, so that I refer to that as a soul for us as humans and beings. When you're in your soul frequency, your soul vibration, you have full awareness of the universe. So there's nowhere you're going to go. There's no situation you're going to get into that's quote unquote dangerous. Okay. Because you have full awareness of anyone who walks in that room. As you're walking into the room, if you're not supposed to walk into a room. I know you've had those moments where you're like, whoa, I shouldn't be here. And you get out of there. And there's other times where you're like, I shouldn't be here. And you stay and something happens, right? Okay. It's understanding that moment, that awareness, something happened or something was going to happen. Part of the story, it's twofold, because sometimes you're supposed to have the experience of being in that room and whatever it is. It's understanding and recognizing we have to detach from our trauma identity, is the way they're saying it. Because our perspective of trauma and how we see ourselves in the world, okay, determines our fear of energy, our fear of our own self, right? Because the moment you start to feel something that's so big and so powerful, you get uncomfortable. You start to second guess everything, especially when you've been programmed to believe that power is bad. Power is about control. Power is about manipulation. And here's the truth. Power and control have nothing, power has nothing to do with control and manipulation. Power is aligned with the essence of who you are. Okay. It's like a generator, right? That literally feeds energy into your intention. Just feel that for a minute. So remember, we talked about how the universe is created, right? The actual creator gave you the equation for creation. Intention becomes energy, becomes experience. Okay? So if you're scared of your power, right, which is your generator, right? So that's how you think about it, right? You go to sleep at night, you plug back in, that's what you're doing. You're plugging into your generator, you're recharging. But your generator is what propels you through life, through every experience you have. But your generator isn't artificial intelligence. It's not human generated. You're plugging into the universe. You're plugging into the essence of existence and every aspect of conscious intelligence in existence. So not only are you getting information, you're increasing your frequency and vibration. Why do we need to do that? Well, it's more powerful than eating. This is how you have breatharians. They run on energy. You know, there's a lot of people who don't eat at all because they understand the foundation of existence. And I'm not saying go out there and stop eating. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. What I'm saying and what I'm helping you understand and what the universe, like what the creator wants you to understand is right now, humanity is on, it's like a crash course of recognition and remembering the truth of existence. But you have to understand that the foundation, the basic foundation of existence is energy, right? And so is the basic foundation of you. And inside those two energies is a relationship. So the universe has a relationship with every single being created in this universe, right? That's our God relationship. We don't need a priest or a pastor or whatever other titles there are to determine our relationship with God, because you have a direct relationship. Direct. They don't want you to go through someone else or around someone else. But here's the other part, is if going to church makes you feel good because it creates a space for you to remember that connection, then keep going. If it creates a space for you to connect with other humans who want to remember their connection with the creator, with God, with Jesus, whomever, because they are all different. Well, creator and God are the same, but Jesus and God are different beings. But the reality is, more than anything today, the creator wants you to begin to understand that you are your energy, and your energy has the potential to save lives, to create lives, to propel existence itself into a future where suffering no longer exists. Your energy has the power to create the future of human existence where suffering no longer exists. You know what that means? It means you don't need a government. You don't need a police force. You don't need rules and laws and regulations. You need you. And you need you with an intention so pure that it has the potential to hold space for the 8 billion humans on the planet right now. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Because you have the potential to do it. Now do you see why you start to get scared of your energy? Because your brain says, oh, that's too big, that's too much. But instinctively, you already know it's true. You know absolutely 100% the suffering that's going on here is wrong. You know that the wars that are being created strategically, you know that the lies that are being told consistently, you know it's all wrong. And you know what? I'm here to say, so what? Because the creator could care less. And that's what you need to wrap your head around. Because when you're focused on being angry, being frustrated, and being terrified about what's happening in the world, guess what you're not doing? You're not creating the future. So when there's different wars going on in the world, I'm not saying ignore. I'm saying participate in the way that you were created to participate, to create actual change that can happen now. Not in 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, 50 years from now. Do it now, before we lose more lives. The problem is humanity is too scared to move. They're paralyzed. But what if you had the power and the potential to create a space, to create an opportunity where you could use your energy at the highest level in existence to create polarizing transformation that would last lifetimes, not a lifetime, lifetimes. It would be written in consciousness in the origins of human existence. It would be written that you chose to participate at the level of your soul and hold space for humanity because you knew the power of purity and the power of your clarity and intention was what the universe created you for. And you know that that's why you exist. Creating intentions that support the possibility of creating massive change are actually extremely simple. It's the simplicity that we can't accept. Number one, you have to let go of your fear of your own energy, and your fear of what you think other people are going to do to you, for you, around you. Because you cannot create an intention at the level of this purity with a single iota of fear in it. If it has any fear, it's not pure. So you have to let go of that. Number two, you have to be willing to see the truth of every single situation you have. Why? Because here's the thing. Whatever it is that you're meant to do, it's not going to happen overnight. The energy needs to grow. It needs to be fed. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be nourished. But more than anything, it needs to have you hold space for it so that it has room to grow. Because that's exactly how the universe became what it is today. Because the creator created an opportunity. And from that opportunity, you exist today. You and the cajillions, I don't even know the right numbers for that many, but all that many souls exist. Because it didn't start out that way. He didn't say, wow, I'm going to create this and this and this, and in 7 days it's done. Nope. That's not how that happened. That's why we're telling the story of creation, because it's so old that your brain can't even comprehend it. And yet it happened in the blink of an eye because time and space doesn't exist. What it is it's not about time. It's about intention. Everything in existence is about intention. When you lose your shit with someone, that's your intention. That's what you're creating, because that's the energy you're feeding. When you love an experience that you're having, you create more of it. But if there's any fear in it, you're going to cancel out the experience that you want to create. So truth, then the second part is being willing to see the truth. You have to allow yourself to recognize that you are not the power source. The universe is the power source. That's the truth. So your power to propel your intention comes from the universe itself. Why? Because the universe was created to ensure everyone succeeds. So when you have an idea, not something the same, like I'm just going to change the color or I'm going to tweak this, tech and it'll be able to hold 3 times as much memory. Yay, it's revolutionary. No, that's not what I'm talking about. When you have an idea in you that is a solution to a challenge that exists in humanity. And here's the other part, is it's really important. Your job isn't to know the whole solution and all the pieces that fit into it, the whole strategy of how it's going to unfold. No. It's the inspiration that you go, oh, not all humans have clean water? Huh, well, that doesn't feel right. Okay. And if it's one of those things that it hits you in the gut, it strikes you. Okay. Like, I remember I had honestly, before I started doing this, I didn't know anything about channeling. I didn't know anything about mediums, very, very little. My mother used to go to mediums. That was it. I knew nothing. And I kept having experience after experience after experience because my energy, my intention shifted. And all of a sudden, I was having conversations with universal beings. It was literally within a few months. And it went from holy to, oh, okay. It's understanding that you're participating in a bigger intention right now. Okay. Your life is already an intention. It's the biggest intention of your existence. Just feel that. So, people always say, like, what's my purpose and how do I find my purpose? It's the intention for your life. That's your purpose. Your job is to remember why your soul propelled you into this life right now. Because you signed up for this. You're here for a reason. Your job isn't to need to know all the information of how you're going to do it, with who, when, and what you're going to do so you can, go out and announce it to the world. No. No, your job is to figure it out. And how do you do that? By exploring your potential. I've said it a million times, probably more. Are you starting to see now that this relationship that you have with your life, that's the problem? It's disconnected from the truth that your existence is based in energy. You're 100% connected to the universe. You have a direct relationship with the source of existence and creation, who has modeled 100% the exact reason for it, how to fulfill your purpose. The creators modeled it. You're not inside. The problem is we are so trained by the education system, which then turns into, the workforce, if you will. And so we are so trained to believe that we need to go into a role and prove how good we are to do this, this, and this. We forget that every single job that we have isn't about job performance. It's about why you're feeding the intention of your life and existence. Every job is feeding your ability to explore what you're capable of. Use those jobs. Learn from the people who are doing things that you want to be doing. Respect what you feel. Respect other humans for who they are. It's not about having a spiritual job. That's not what this life is about. If that was truly what existence was about, we wouldn't be where we are, guys. We would be in a completely different universal experience. Your job isn't to separate yourself from your normal life, right? Your real life, and over here, step into your spiritual life. It's all one. All one. We've talked about this in past episodes. They've asked you, how would you feel if every single person you know from every part of your life was in one room? Would you still be able to be the same person that you are? Or would you be uncomfortable, right? In order for you to fulfill the reason that you exist, okay, you need to lose the fear, you need to accept the truth, and you need to recognize your power. You need to recognize it. Now, this is the hardest one, surprisingly. Most people think, mostly because we're addicted to fear and we like to keep talking about fear and how much we're getting over fear and we're fearful of this, we're scared of this, and blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, you recognizing your power is actually more challenging than anything else. Why? Because yes, you've been taught to fear it. Okay. But you don't know what to do with it. And humans are 100% addicted to, what do I do with this? How does it work? How am I supposed to tap into it? How? And the reason we're asking so many hows is because we believe in all the limitations that have been set. So let me give you an example. The creator sets an intention for this entire universe. And his intention is free will. How do you think he came to that idea when he didn't even have any beings in this universe? There was nobody here. There was no experience. There was no matter. There was nothing. And he went, well, this is going to be based on free will, because he had a vision. He had a vision. And that was the one and only law of this universe that he created. The others are creation principles, okay? But There's only one law in existence. And a law means that anyone, and the reason he set this one, okay, was because anyone created here will be founded on the concept of free will. But anyone who comes to play here from other universes, they have to abide by free will. And how did those who chose to come in and manipulate humanity, how did they get around that? Well, they created the concept of laws. They created the concept of rules. They created the concept of limits, limitations. And so now your brain is filled with limitations that poison your ability to access your own energy. It's pretty brilliant, actually, if you think about it. The plan is so brilliant, and they backed it up with fear, immense fear, that if you fell out of line, you would die. You'd be in peril. How can you do that? Well, when people believe this is it, this is all there is to existence, you get pretty scared. Why do you get pretty scared? Because your innate knowing recognizes you're meant to do something great. You don't want to run out of time. You don't want to run out of time with the people you love, the experiences you know you're meant to have. Scary. So all they had to do was create a dynamic, well, where you feared death. You feared your own destruction. Because inside death and destruction, it's interesting. When you look at it from the human perspective, inside death and destruction, it's funny because there's nothing there. Like, there is nothing. And I need to, when I say that, there's no energy, there's nothing there. And so that's why when your brain focuses on death, there's nothing there. Because there is nothing. But let me tell you how that actually works. Your energy exists forever. When you're created in the universe, you're created forever. Forever. So that's why there's nothing there when you tap into death, because death doesn't exist. But your soul is infinite in its existence. Infinite. Which means that when you come into a life, you choose when you want to leave. And you collect lives. But it's not like a collection so you have things. No. It's a collection of experiences that allow you to get closer and closer and closer to the reason you were created, to your own fulfillment. But that closer isn't a destination. It's understanding its evolution. And evolution is, right, a constant more. That's what they're talking about. Consciousness, constant more. So if we can have as many lives as we want, we just keep coming back, there's no such thing as death. You leave that life and come back. But here's the thing. The only way you wouldn't know that is if they taught you to believe that this is it. You better use that life because you got nothing else. Your existence is based on eternity. And it's not that you have tons of time to relax. It's recognizing your existence is based in eternity. You can try anything, you can do anything, you can participate in any way you want. You're going to come back as many times as you want, as many times as you want to, not need to, as many times as you want to fulfill you. Well, then what's fulfillment? Well, that's really simple. Fulfillment is you participating in the way that you were created to participate in existence. Because there is nothing else like allowing the frequency and vibration of the energy of your existence to flow through you. Because when it flows through you, it flows out to the universe. It flows out. You can feel it right now. It flows out to the universe. And that's how you touch other people. That's how you make a significant impact in the world. Your impact is not based on how much money you make and how much you can pay for things and how much you can collect things. It's understanding that when you're making the impact in the world for humanity to evolve, the universe will fund it. You don't need to worry about the pieces and the strategies because the energy that you need to fulfill every aspect of your being shows up. The right people, the right experiences. Why? Because you're exploring your potential. And that's the energy part of the creation equation. Intention becomes energy, becomes experience. But you have to understand that the experience itself is the exchange in consciousness. So if your intention has a fear of death, you're not going to get to the experience that is fulfilling. If it has a fear of anything, and it must be based on the truth that your existence is an integral aspect of existence itself. And your life is a reflection of that. It's big. But that's how big your energy is. That's how big your potential is. Your job isn't to control it, isn't to hide from it, isn't to run from it, isn't to say, oh my gosh, this is too big for me, this is too much, I don't know how to do this. Your job is to say, why would they give me this? Okay, what am I meant to do with this? How can I use this to propel humanity forward? Because you have the most incredible potential. It's inside of you. It's not locked away unless you keep it hidden. But it wants to come out. Those moments where you get so frustrated, you get so annoyed at the things that you're seeing in the world, that's your potential. It's whispering to you. It's telling you this is what you need to do. But if it's using anger, that's fear. If you're angry at what's happening, when you get angry, when you get uncomfortable, when you feel, oh, why is that happening? Your job isn't to go, wow, how can we send money? How can we send relief to those people? It's not your job. Your job is to honor their existence. Don't feel bad for them. Honor their existence and the life they chose to participate in creating opportunities and awarenesses for the rest of human existence. Because those who are suffering, they too came into this life with an intention from their soul. And they're participating. And until we get to that place where we begin to recognize that every human is a soul first, And not, that's why you should treat them nicely. It's everyone's a human soul first. That's why you need to look through the energy, not through your mind and the perspectives you've been taught and trained to believe. It's time. It's time for you. Yes, it's time for humanity, but you are humanity. You, wherever you are right now, in your home, in your car, hiding in a closet, walking outside, you're the future of humankind, human existence. And the entire future is based on who you are and what you're capable of. So instead of walking around blind saying, well, I don't know who I am, I don't know what I can do, I can't tap into the energy, stop. You need to admit the truth that you are 100% connected with the highest energy and frequency in existence. You're connected with the universe itself. You're connected with the creator. You're connected with consciousness. And you're directly connected to the foundation of your existence. And it's through those connections that all the answers you seek are just waiting to be revealed. So instead of walking around saying, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, I can't find my purpose, I think it's this, I'm not really sure, start trusting yourself. Start allowing the energy to speak louder than your fears. Because you know what that energy is? Guess what? It is. It's truth. It's the highest truth in existence because there's only one truth. It's the highest information in existence. And you're meant to hear it. More importantly, you're meant to feel it. Because you know the difference between hearing and feeling? Hearing is with your mind. And when you feel it, it changes you. That is why in our community all the time, I don't lead guided meditations. They're sacred journeys that you go on with your soul, with universal beings, so you can actually feel the energy. You're experiencing universal wisdom, universal guidance. Why? Because it changes you instantaneously. That's what you need to do. That energy is in there. It's waiting to come out. It's not when you're shaking with anger. That's an emotion. That's not energy. But underneath, anger is always fear. When you allow yourself to recognize what that fear is, what it is, where it comes from, the truth is underneath that. Your energy is hiding. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you to recognize it. You don't even have to release it. The moment you recognize it, it's going to flow through you because it is you. And right now, you're spending all kinds of energy trying to smush it down and keep it super small so you can stay and color your life inside the lines. But your life isn't meant to be inside the lines. Your life is meant to be colorful and vibrant. It's meant to push boundaries, create new experiences that humans never, ever considered before. We're all meant to do that. Why? Because that's what free will is. Participating in existence and evolution, it's the same thing. It's expanding what's already here into something that's never been created before. That's what we're doing now more than ever. We're stepping back into our sovereign intelligence. What does that mean? We are coming out of the control and manipulation. We're restoring our ability, our capacity to hold our energy again. But in order to do that, we have to come back to the truth that our existence is based in energy. Everything comes back to energy. I know this was a big one. I know there's a lot of concepts, and it right now, it may even seem a little bit like a shit show, and you're not really sure how all the pieces fit together. That's what happens with really big concepts when they come out, right? They're big layers. We came back to the start. But it's understanding that as you listen to this, right? The fact that you know you're meant to listen to it, or maybe you stumbled across this for the first time, you're just brand new to this. It's understanding and recognizing that that happened for a reason. And now you watch what happens over the next few days. Watch how the universe responds to this new awareness in your space. They're going to start to give you little pieces that connect dots that you were already curious about. They were sort of niggling in the back of your mind, and all of a sudden, pieces, experiences, sensations, awarenesses, they all start to make sense. Because that's how the universe works. That's your sovereign intelligence. You literally are plugged into the universe. You just have to let the energy flow into you. It's exhausting trying to keep it back, right? To keep yourself small. So right now, let yourself feel. It's time to create the future of humanity. And you're a key player. And we're going to keep going. The Creator says, this is the wisdom you were born with, you were created with. And it's the reason you came into this life, is to create the future of human existence, to expand consciousness, to expand existence itself. And He's going to give you everything you need to fulfill that. It's not only, He says, it's not only a promise, it's the foundation of existence. It's always been this way. They've just taught you to forget it. And He says, I'm just helping you remember. Okay, I'm Michelle Vickers. I will see you next time. Let me know how this episode made you feel. Share in the comments. Are you ready? You ready to feel this level of power? Because it is not the trickles that you've been using. It's not the little pieces and the little glimpses. It's recognizing that in order to create this level of impact, creating the future of human existence, you have to let the energy flow. You have to leave the tap on full. And the best part is, it's not uncomfortable. It's actually restorative. You stop being exhausted. You stop feeling lost. You have such clarity, but you also have a contentment because you know where you're going. It's like all of a sudden, every challenge, it's just a little blip. When you really understand that your existence is so much bigger than a challenge that's coming up in your face. It's so much bigger. Thank you. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.